Jewelry isn't a gift you give just once. It's a way to remind your loved one of a beautiful moment every time they see it. Blue Nile can help you find the gift that says how you feel and says it beautifully, with expert guidance and a wide assortment of jewelry of the highest quality at the best price. Go to BlueNile.com and experience the convenience of shopping Blue Nile, the original online jeweler since 1999. That's BlueNile.com to find the perfect jewelry gift for any occasion. BlueNile.com.
Connection is a healthy and essential aspect of our daily lives. From a warm hug after a hard day to kind words just when we need them, these gentle moments give us an understanding of life's true meaning. But when the ability to connect is interrupted by the hustle of daily life and to-do lists pile up next to the worry of who needs school supplies, sometimes making decisions about our health and the well-being of our loved ones can take a back seat. When it comes to those we care for, vaccines are one of the greatest public health success stories, and along with other measures, are one way to help prevent certain diseases. At Merck, we envision communities where families, healthcare providers, local organizations, and advocates work together. Health equity happens when every person, regardless of age and ethnicity, in every community, has fair access to healthcare, including the vaccines they need. For more information, please visit whyvaccines.com.
I'm Phil Kitramilides.
And I'm Sid Lowe.
And every week we bring you the latest from La Liga in the Spanish football podcast. Sid, this season's going to be amazing, isn't it?
We've got Kylian Mbappe at Real Madrid, Dani Olmo at Barcelona, and Julian Alvarez at Atletico.
Don't forget Nico Williams at Athletic Club as well.
And definitely don't forget Leganés. Their mascot is literally a giant cucumber.
Hear all about it every Monday in the Spanish football podcast.
Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Anfield Index podcast. It is your host Trev Downey in his usual rural Ireland retreat, and I'm joined for episode 393 by a nervous Lisa Marie Hanahan, who is wondering now, what's the world coming to when I know the number of the show? And returning to the fold after a little while away, your favourite and mine, Mr. Kam Brainch. So I'll start with our prodigal son and say hello to you, Kam. How you been, buddy?
Prodigal son, that's an interesting one. I called that in a hot while. What can I say? It's been it's been many moons, isn't it? It's been I'm struggling here all of a sudden, Trevor. It's been incredible. I've had an incredible high to the most awful of lows, which sent me to the deepest, darkest depths of the ocean, you could say. And but therapy is needed, and therapy is what I'm here for. So went to see the Reds a few weeks ago, and that sort of helped a little bit. So thanks to her and Dabaji for that. And here we are, so I've sort of been flirting with this for a few weeks now. And it's good to be back here in the hot seat, talking to my favourite people,
Well, it is fantastic to have you back, and I know that goes for everybody. And no more needs to be said than the way that you finally eloquently put it there than that. And we will focus solely on the silliness and the sort of upbeat stuff that we usually do. And if therapy requires it, my friend, feel free to go off on one of your Tory rants at any given moment.
No, Tory land's good at the moment. I got to admit, we don't have them to worry about something like that.
Hey.
They're saying that. What
exactly do you call Keir Starmer if he's not a Tory?
Come on. Tory light. Sorry, light.
Sorry, light. Yeah. So obviously we are joined by Lisa Marie as well. How are you, my friend? We were talking about doing this during the week, and it's a lovely bonus, isn't it, to have Kam back?
It is absolutely lovely to have Kam back. You have been missed, my friend. So nice to hear your voice and have you join us again. And then Trev, so very proud of you for getting the episode number right without any reminder or prompting from me before we went live. I mean, Dave made, we might as well just stop now.
You've managed there to sound both vaguely hostile and condescending. I'm in awe. I'm in awe of how you can spin that accent of yours into both folksy and yet threatening. It's great. I like it. I duly noted. I'll never say the number again.
Now, you are completely misinterpreting what I was saying. Absolutely. That's fine. Yeah, job security for me. That's all I have to say.
I want to start with something quite throwaway, but also kind of enjoyable pub talk stuff, because if you had an eye on the socials of any sort during the week, and I know, Kam, you've sort of pretty much hit the eject button from an awful lot of that stuff, but you still will probably come across on whatever it is you do look at the little clip there during the week. I mean, it's incessant content churn, of course, we know. And Neville and Carragher were having a chat during the week, and Neville asked him to name his best ever Liverpool 11. And I found myself raising my eyebrows, because I don't normally agree with Jamie Carragher these days, but I had to pretty much doff my cap and say, well, I can't argue with that, because that is the actual all-time 11 that I've put on record on several shows over the years. So I wanted to do two types of 11 today, just to get us started here and get us back in the groove. And this is in the most, inclusive and absolutely non-condescending way possible. I want to do something that encapsulates Lisa Marie's more recent timeline and our own. So, like, you and I go back a long way with this, and we're all pretty much of an age. But with Lisa Marie, the deep knowledge of the team and the players is more recent. So it's quite interesting. I think it would be quite interesting to get the recent and all-time. And I'll focus on the all-time with you, Kam. Mm-hmm. And I'll focus on the more recent, your favourite Liverpool 11 of recent years. We'll say a decade or so, which I think is roughly speaking maybe a little bit, but more or less about the right mark for yourself, Lisa Marie. And of course, it's going to be predominantly the Klopp era boys and all. I was
going to say, mine is essentially the Klopp era 11, but
yeah, you see, within that there is a little bit of wiggle room for a bit of controversy, which is what I like to see. And that's where, even if it's only one name that gets the debate going here. So I want you to have a think about that, Lisa Marie. And we're going to come back to this as our finishing off feature. And Kam, I want you to mull over your since you started supporting the Reds 11, and we will finish with that.
1832, yeah.
1832, a good year. We're all wearing our.
Better get a piece of paper, aren't I?
You should make a note. Yeah, you should probably make some notes. And if you fail to answer any questions on notes because you're deep in thought, I wanted to just start with one other thing as well. I have a word I want to throw out for you here, and I'd like you to tell me what you think this is. Give me a second. I have to access this via my incredibly complicated filing system here, which is screenshots on my phone. Ah, yes. He had many specific words he used, but one was collaboration and competition every day. Now, if that is not the most David Brent thing you've ever heard in your life, I don't know what is. I may be sending you off down the wrong path, though, with the Brent thing, or perhaps I'm not. My quiz question to you, my friends, to begin the show this week is, what cringy genius came up with that collaboration expression? Don't all answer at once.
I'm gonna say.
I have no idea.
Say Orson Welles.
What?
I'm thinking it's probably a little more recent than that.
Okay. Jesus, you people need help here.
You said genius.
I may well have been sticking my tongue firmly into my cheek. Let me read the quote again. He had many specific words he used, but one was collaboration and competition every day. We're talking about recent era football. And we're talking about a guy whose philosophy involves this makey-uppy word that he just invented, collaboration, right? With that context, who do you think is the coiner of that phrase?
Well, at least Marie, have a go. I'll have one go. I'm thinking Elvis now.
Recent football, Elvis.
There must be a footballer called Elvis somewhere. I didn't say surname, you know.
There was a Canadian figure skater whose name was Elvis back in like the 90s.
Can we get off the Elvis thing?
Just trying to help Cam out there.
Well, just writing down Sooners here. Sooners. Sorry, I'm multitasking. We're not allowed to do that. But
in other words, you're Googling it.
He's writing down. He's writing down his all-time 11 as he's supposed to be answering this. Okay. Seeing as nobody clearly has a clue who this is, I'm going to tell you, it is, as I hinted, an incredibly cringy modern character from football management, and it is Mr. Mikel Arteta.
Oh, should have known.
You should have known.
Should have known.
Pulled under the chin.
I was going to say Neil Warner, but I thought that might be.
Well, hey, listen, at least you've been in the ballpark of cringy football managers.
Yeah.
This guy is...
No, you know who he should have been? Oh, so stupid.
Brendan, yeah.
It should have been Steve Bruce.
Oh, Brucey, yeah, well, you know what? I won't have Brucey slandered as being cringy. He is, after all, one of the great authors of our time. So... We should probably give him a pass on that. Well, okay, so nobody picked up on my Mikel Arteta quiz question, so we're off to a flyer. I love it. Did you
with a bang?
Did you or did you not, Kam Brainch, get a look at the Champions League game during the week?
No, I missed it. I left the house at 5:15 in the morning, got home at 9:15. For some bizarre reason, even though I knew the game was on Tuesday, I suddenly thought it was on Wednesday, and I didn't even listen to it on the radio. And I just got in 9:15. I was fast asleep by 9:30. I saw some of the highlights.
Well, can I ask you, was your return to Anfield a happy experience? What game were you back for?
Brentford, first home game.
Okay,
nice.
Okay,
yeah, nice. It was very nice.
So let's take a step back then.
Sure.
Even if you weren't aware of the Champions League game midweek, we'll come to that in a second, because I'm anxious to get both of your thoughts on the way people are framing this new league thing. It's quite interesting. But let's take a step back then to the weekend, which is the other most recent game, which was the reversal against Nottingham Forest. Not many people saw that coming, and not many people felt that was how it would end up. And for the vast majority of the first half and a good chunk of the second half, I was thinking at some point, second half, Liverpool will kick in, Cam. But it didn't happen. Now, I spent a long time trying to talk to Jan Mulby about this last night in our show and try to work out what it was. My sort of amateurish, half-arsed take was, is it just that, it's a new era, a new manager, and each of the previous games had a full week's coaching from the new man, and people got to learn exactly what they had to do, and then interrupted by international break, we've only got a couple of days training, and we reverted to some maybe less than stellar habits of the past? I don't know. What was your take on why it went south so badly?
We were shit.
Well, yes.
We
succinct but accurate.
Yeah, but we were utterly shit, and up until we were reasonable to the final third, We stopped them having any real opportunities throughout the game apart from the goal. They had sort of moments, but we were sort of controlling all of that. But the final third, we were devoid. We were as flat as anything. I think the manager got things badly wrong on his slot. I think this will be a really good lesson for him in what he could have done, should have done, didn't do.
Right. Well, that's exactly where I wanted to go. So, elaborate there. What do you mean by that? How did he get it wrong?
Right. Okay. Well, first he thought Nottingham Forest were going to play with wingers, and they didn't. So straight away, he knows he's got to change his approach to the game. As soon as he's seen that lineup, he's got to do something different, because he was talking about before the game how Forest played with wide men and this, that, and the other wingers, blah blah blah. They didn't. They flooded that midfield basically, and they wouldn't say they won the midfield, but they cut off all the passing lanes. They stopped us really creating anything. Keeper made few and far, hardly any saves. There was none of these. Oh my God! Apart from the Diaz shot in the first half, which he created from nothing himself, that hit the post. We didn't do anything, and the manager, for example, against Ipswich, took off Kwanzaa at half time because things weren't quite going the way he wanted. Well, was he just scapegoating a young player, and he was afraid to do that on Saturday with more senior players on the pitch? Because he should have made changes at half time, and that's something I want to see how he progresses with that going forwards now. So final third, he could have taken Jota off, he could have taken Szoboszlai off, he could have. I mean, we know why he took McAllister off, because when he did, because come back from South America. Same reason with Diaz, why he took him off when he did. Didn't want to burn him out. Thinking of a Tuesday night. So he just got it all wrong, and then the bizarre situation of after we went a goal down, and it was panic. The control had gone completely. The control we've been seeing in all these previous games disappeared. It was like, let's throw the kitchen sink at them, but we don't actually have a kitchen sink to throw at them. And so we're just waving our hands in the air in their direction, because we didn't do anything. The keeper was not worked. And that's just unacceptable at Anfield, especially.
Jewelry isn't a gift you give just once. It's a way to remind your loved one of a beautiful moment every time they see it. Blue Nile can help you find the gift that says how you feel and says it beautifully, with expert guidance and a wide assortment of jewelry of the highest quality at the best price. Go to BlueNile.com and experience the convenience of shopping Blue Nile, the original online jeweler since 1999. That's BlueNile.com to find the perfect jewelry gift for any occasion. BlueNile.com.
Do you know what it takes to be iconic? You are iconic. I am iconic. I love Iconic Agua. I drink Iconic Agua every day. Join the movement. Hydrate with Iconic Agua. Find Iconic Agua in all Kroger and Ralph stores across America. Because when you're thirsty, there's only one way to hydrate. And that's with the world's best tasting spring water on earth. Hydrate responsibly. Iconic Agua, where hydration meets greatness.
I don't need a VPN. I've got nothing to hide. Ha. This is what I used to tell myself before I hooked up with LibertyShield.com. Not only is my home internet now fully encrypted, but I can now access all the websites I want, whenever I want, and do so from absolutely anywhere. As a Liverpool fan, I love to know I can now watch every match, regardless of whether it's on UK TV or not. My Liberty Shield VPN makes sure nothing is blocked and guarantees me super fast streaming speed throughout that match. You can get connected right now with their software package, which includes a 48-hour no-obligation free trial and instant access to their apps for Apple, Android, Fire TV, PC, Mac, and Android TV. Or go a step further like I have and get one of their pre-configured VPN routers. These small but powerful devices allow you to easily connect every device in your home to VPN, making it the perfect solution for smart TVs, Mac boxes, and games consoles.
Visit libertyshield.com today and use coupon code AIVPN25 to get 25% off at checkout.
Yeah, I mean the impotence of the attack was stunning, and kind of a bit head scratching. And like Jan was saying something very similar to you, but then and sort of he got a selection wrong, and maybe he needs to think about it and stuff like that. But I was saying, well, okay, yeah, that's a very good point, but there were subs introduced, and they had zero impact. Like zero impact at all.
No, they did have an impact. It was actually a negative impact.
Well, okay, in terms of positivity, there was no improvement. No. So I mean, it's
worse.
That in and of itself is a further head scratcher. So just to bring you in on this, Lisa Marie, I mean, again, I'm sure you even after the fact you've seen chunks of the game as well. I mean, did you, as you were thinking about it, come up with any rational explanation at all for why things can fall so far off a cliff when we had started to rely on this lovely calm feeling, and that's why up until somewhere in the second half I was thinking it'll be fine, because it always is fine. And even like I was saying on Molby and Spot last night, we've had every single game under Slot. All of the pre-season friendlies were victories. We roll into the season 3 on the bounce, and then that happened. And it was just so lacking and lackluster and lacking inspiration. And people like Dom Szoboszlai, who looked like he won a lottery to play for Liverpool. I mean, this guy who's like a Rolls Royce of a footballer, Mo Salah, was appalling. How does that happen? I'm genuinely curious if you have any take on how it happens, because I tried that international break thing and Jan wasn't having it, and I kind of agree it shouldn't be certainly across the board, and there was nobody good, nobody played well, with the exception perhaps of Alisson, who actually conceded, and Virgil, who was good. Nobody could say they had a good outing. It's weird.
No, I mean, it was, and I think Dave Hendrick made this point either on Raw or one of his Daily Reds this week, that it was like everybody had their bad game the same game. You're going to have those weeks where, somebody's just going to be off it. And it was like everybody picked last Saturday, that game to just not, I mean, we couldn't string passes together to save our lives. I mean, it was incredible that, it was very rarely that, 2 passes. I mean, it was just, there was mispassing all over the place. That was the thing that struck me the most about everything. And, and you start noticing it and you're thinking, okay, maybe it's, this player or that player, but it was all of them. None of them could pass the ball that day. So I don't have any explanation other than, some of the various ones that have been put forward, international break, et cetera, et cetera. I think the fact that we have hit, we had made it, and again, we're not that far into the season, but as you pointed out with preseason as well as the games that we had played to date, where we had to mount a comeback, if you will, at any point in time. So, that may be telling, but we did much better, not to jump ahead, but we did much better on Tuesday night, in Milan. So that's promising. But yeah, it was like, I can't even explain it, but it was almost like it was one of those, if it could go wrong, it did go wrong, be it the way that the starting 11 played, the way, the Slot and the substitutions that he made or didn't make at the right time or whatever. And then, once the subs were on, they weren't any sort of improvement to who they had come on for. So it was just a series of unfortunate events that also, unfortunately, culminated in our first loss of the season.
And, it felt as if it was rolling into an exacerbated, extended disaster spell when Pulisic scores so early in the Champions League game, and I'm looking at Slot there in his shirt, and I'm thinking he looks distinctly unhappy, and I would be too. And oh God, the honeymoon's rightly over now. But what happened on Tuesday night was a sort of a shrugging off of that adversity that was really heartening, because we saw just superiority across the pitch. We went to the San Siro, a very intimidating place. You and I spoke last week, Lisa Marie, about how much we'd love to take in a match there. And it's, I mean, if nothing else, the fucking lunatic they've got constantly on the PA system getting the crowd going is enough to, if not intimidate you, then annoy the shit out of you and put you off your game. But they have some very, very good footballers. It was a challenging thing to go there, never mind to go there and go one down so early, but Liverpool just were superior. And, you know, that, like I say, was very heartening. I think you got to watch this one, right?
Yeah, I had it on as I was working, because of course that match time is afternoon for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so it was on, you know, I had it streaming on my iPad sort of off to one side here as I was working. And, you know, I was, if not watching intently, you know, listening and paying attention to what was going on. And yes, I mean, Christian Pulisic does like a goal against us, Captain America, if you will, as they call him over here, because he is the captain of the American team.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, he's the captain of or often, I mean, maybe not every single time, but I mean, not assuming if he plays, I think he is captain of the U.S. team. So yeah, he's kind of referred to as Captain America. But yeah, he does like to score against us. He did that frequently when he was still at Chelsea. So, I mean, it was kind of like, I mean, I looked up right as he scored and I'm like, of course, you know, and it tears me a little bit because I do sort of like him. You know, he's one of the few players I know really on our team, since most of them play in like MLS or other leagues that I'm not as familiar with. And, but the response was quite heartening, you know, from all the players across the board. So you're right, you know, coming off of the Nottingham Forest game, knowing that we've got, you know, the first Champions League game and, you know, and 2 a week here until the next international break, and just like, this is not leaving me with a warm and fuzzy. And to come away not just with the win there at the San Siro, but a definite win, you know, puts me in a much better mood as we're looking forward to the next game and the next one.
Yeah, exactly. It's just never ending now. It's just going to be consistent. And I saw some footage of, I don't know who the hell it is, because I don't, I'm not involved in subscription packages anymore, but I don't know who it is that has Kate Abdo and
it's the CBS coverage over here.
Is it?
Now,
Okay.
it carried, you know, other places, but it is the CBS coverage, and so that's actually what I was watching.
Right. So they've got Jamie Carragher and Thierry Henry and Micah Richards and stuff like that.
Is that not TNT here then?
I don't think it's TNT, but it's as Lisa Marie says, it's carried.
It's definitely.
Yeah, it's carried by somebody over here, and we see it over here. So the footage that I'm talking about is they had the lads, fucking comedy capers, doing a big sort of rundown of the league table after one match, right? And it just looks so comical. They have it split over 3 screens. They've got the lads who have, you know, got 3 points and superior goal difference are the top 8, and then the next ones are on white. They're still in the qualifier stage. Here's the thing, right? Dave today on Daily Red was quoting some Opta stats supercomputer. Fucking hell, I'll believe that when I said about some lad in the back room with a calculator. Let's be honest, supercomputer, come on. Anyway, they've done some stats or done some crunched some numbers, and they've come up with what's likely, Cam, to qualify you out of this group, out of this league rather. So if you want to get top 8, they're saying you're probably going to need 16 points. If you want to get into the qualification phase, they're saying you're probably going to need 10 points. Now, you know, they can make all the predictions they like, but things can also go differently in real life. But just say, let's take our AI overlord's word for it. It is quite, it's quite the first step, isn't it, to get that 3 points away win, Cam? You know, you feel like, well, we're certainly going to be okay for a playoff at this rate, because, most of the rest of the games, you look at them and you think, well, we should win that. There are two that might represent a bigger challenge than the others, but we should or could win them too. Especially, yes, it's Real Madrid, but it's like we have a crack at them in our place. You know what I mean? So these are things that you think, well, I'm looking ahead at the 7 remaining games and I'm thinking we need to make up, 7 points out of 7 games to be into the kind of playoff stage, or say 8 points to be safe. We need another 13 points from 7 games to get into the automatic qualifying positions according to our supercomputer pals. Even at this early stage, if we perform anything like what we did in the first game, it does look doable. I have quite a confidence about it, whether that's misplaced or not, Cam.
No, there's nothing wrong with having confidence. That's for sure. The big game is obviously Real at home, and I think the other one is you're alluding to is it Bayern Leverkusen?
Yeah, they're pretty much back to back.
And they're the 2 big games in the group. They're both at Anfield. So I think the draw was really, really favourable for us. I think Leverkusen aren't quite the team they were last season already. I think there's signs of that. I think they lost the first game, if I'm right. I'm not sure. I'm sure. Am I right or am I wrong with that?
I think you're right. I think Leverkusen had a bit of a reversal, and we played them. Yeah, we played them at home on the 5th of November. We've got Villa on the 9th at home. We've got Southampton away on the 23rd, and then we play Real on the 27th at home. I was wrong. It's not back to back, but in terms of Champions League fixtures, they are one after the other. Yeah.
So we're positioned really nicely. I don't think we should be looking that far ahead already. I think it's a touch premature to be thinking, right, okay, we're going to get out of the group already. I think ultimately we should just be focusing on, in terms of the Champions League game, the next Champions League game, make sure we get the 3 points in that game. I'm finally confident that we will progress as one of the top 8 teams, considering some of the results for teams you would have expected to get 3 points rather than 1. For example, Arsenal and Man City. You would have, I know Atlanta away is a really tough game, and we struggled there. I think it was season before last. I think we got our backsides handed to us, if I remember rightly. I think we're in a good place. Goal difference could be an interesting one in this setup.
It could goal difference and goals scored and all that kind of stuff. And you're right. I mean, the next day out is Bologna on the 2nd of October.
That's where I went on my honeymoon.
Oh, is it indeed?
Yeah, 1994.
Bologna.
Yeah.
I hope you have happy memories on the night as we beat them. Because they've made a rough enough start. I think they have 3 points from 4 games, if I recall correctly, from last night's show. I did some research at the time. I think 3 draws and a defeat. So they're not exactly flying high. They haven't made the best of starts this season. You're not. They had a thrashing by Napoli, but the other draws are, not exactly high flying teams either. That you'd like to think they would imagine as a Champions League team they'd be doing a bit better than that in their domestic situation. So you'd hope that this is going to be a good opportunity. But here's what's going to happen. I think. I would like to get your take on this. We've got Bournemouth at the weekend, obviously. A lovely 3:00 Saturday kickoff, again, another one. Then we've got Carabao Cup against West Ham, again at home on the Wednesday night. We get Wolves 5:30 Saturday kickoff on the 28th, and then we go out against Bologna on the 2nd of October. And these things are coming around fast, like Lisa Marie said earlier on, these games are coming around fast, and we can look at that Bologna game, Lisa Marie, and think, as myself and Kam were saying, that's one that we got to focus on that one, get that 1-1 and move on. But it's really going to come down to the squad integrity holding up and the squad performance integrity holding up, because we have everyone fit, but we also have a few lads who look like a shadow of their best selves, one or two. Like I'm thinking here, Darwin Nunez, our high-profile striker, is looking a bit short in the old confidence or something, bit of spark, bit of magic. And, you know, one or two injuries could really start to impair the squad in terms of who he can choose, you know, every 3 days. So maybe then suddenly the Bologna game looks a little bit more challenging than a home game against Bologna. You know where I'm going with it.
Hey guys, it's Eddie Gibbs from Anfield Index here. I hope you're enjoying this podcast, and I'm sorry to call time on the show before it ends. In the current climate, it's tougher than ever before to offer podcasts for free. At Anfield Index, we produce over 75 free shows every month, which I'm confident is unparalleled in the LFC sphere. Whilst we'd love to offer everything for free, the production costs now make this impossible. That said, we don't want to follow the model of other channels and lock all of our content behind a paywall. So what we've decided to do is to continue offering every show for free, but cut that offering to 30 minutes on our longer shows. So to get all of our shows in full and enjoy the best of everything we have to offer, we really hope you'll consider supporting the channel and signing up at AnfieldIndexPro.com. For about the price of 1 cup of coffee, you'll get every podcast in full with 0 ads. You'll also get access to our LFC VIP community, where you can enjoy live podcasts, engage with our podcasters, and chat with other Reds in real time. So that website again, AnfieldIndexPro.com. Join today.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
With the $5 meal deal at McDonald's, 5 hits different. 5 gets you a McDouble or a McChicken and a small fry and a small drink and a 4-piece McNuggets. 5 gets you more at McDonald's. Prices and participation may vary for limited time only.